What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a look at Moves of the Diamond Hand, which is a sort of, not exactly sequel, but related game to another game I've covered previously called Betrayal at Club Low, both of which are from Cosmo D, and as you can probably tell pretty much immediately by looking at this game, it is very bizarre. Betrayal at Club Low was also very, very bizarre, but I really enjoyed that game, so I wanted to cover this one when they reached out and asked if I wanted to take a look at the upcoming demo that should be available now, actually, just ahead of the Steam Next Fest. So what these games lack, and I would say graphical fidelity, they make up for by just being super interesting games. As such, they are also a little hard to describe. At the same time, I guess I would probably call them narrative games, where we use a bunch of skills to roll a bunch of dice in conversations to make choices and make things happen, to uncover more of the story and sort of work our way towards our individual goals. It just so happens that on top of the skills we're rolling, we're also utilizing things like pizza dice and knowledge gained from other places to advance the plot. It's a weird game, but very, very fulfilling. If it gives you any context, I actually died while sitting on a bench listening to music because I had an existential crisis. But let's actually do our best here to describe what this game is. So, the game kicks off with you on a train on your way to meet with what is called Circus X. Some over-the-top actual circus with some incredible reputation. You would like to join them, but the problem is not only are they not hiring, there's also a bunch of stuff in your way. There's a ongoing mayoral election that is causing all sorts of problems. We see people endorsing each of the candidates throughout the sort of demo, which is like the first chapter here. But you also have to deal with a whole host of clones, some of which are sort of like failed experiments, like these giant pigeons. And to make it worse, something called the Diamond Hand seems to be moving in the shadows towards some nefarious plot. So as we chase down and explore all of that, I think probably the easiest way to describe the experience overall would be something akin to like a tabletop one-shot experience. But key to interacting with basically anything and getting information is, in fact, your various skills. There's a handful of them, but they're each represented by a dice. Each face of that dice is upgradable. Every interaction, pass or fail, gives you experience of some sort. You spend that experience upgrading these various dice for these skills, which then of course increases your chance of rolling something good. Now that's before we get into things like secondary dice, which can have all sorts of effects like actually hitting into your health or nerves, on top of just status conditions of, success or failure, giving you either cases of nerves, being insecure, that kind of thing, or self-determined. And then you can also find things in the environment like putting on a disguise that will give you boosts to dice as an example. But maintaining and upgrading these various dice is key to success here. So don't neglect to do it, but once you hit certain face dice or milestones, you'll get extra health and nerve to keep you alive a little bit longer. Now, utilizing those dice as well as interacting with the environment is ultimately going to lead you to all sorts of information where you're going to puzzle things out, like for instance getting keys or learning who stole the Jade Base, or at least what I thought was called the Jade Base, on the subway station, because that's basically chapter 1. Or at least that's the case for the train station that we arrive at. We are stuck in this train station because somebody stole something from one of the potential mayoral candidates. We have to get it back. It turns out to be some sort of companion, which just so happens to be the talking bass on the wall. So after all the interactions with the various citizens, the crazy giant pigeons, etc., this demo wraps up effectively by having you in a sort of skill check boss battle with a talking bass. And all of that and more could be yours if you choose to play Moves of the Diamond Hand here, or check out the demo even. And that's without even mentioning things like the actual pizza dice. So one of the ways you can help yourself out is by baking a pizza. One of the many things we'll find by exploring is various ingredients for a pizza. One of the skills is cooking, and unsurprisingly that comes up when you're baking a pizza because each ingredient has two potential outcomes when you're throwing it onto a pizza: a slightly worse version or a better version. And if you successfully cook that pizza, you get the best version of those pizza dice, meaning that pizza is in fact very good and helpful, and you can sort of supplement your rolls with that, and it's a good way to recover like health and nerves as an example. example. One NPC in the demo actually just won't even talk to you unless you have a pizza on you. But putting all that together, again, just a really bizarre experience, exactly like Betrayal at Club Low. It leans really hard into, of course, the skills you choose to upgrade and how you're choosing to interact with the environment and the choices you make, and using all of that to successfully sort of push you into the wider narrative. And later on in the upcoming chapters, you're supposed to be able to explore like the actual city areas and do even more of this with some proper exploration outside of just this small train station. Now, it's my understanding this game is shooting for an early access release sometime later this year, and it will ultimately make up 4 different chapters. When this game fully releases, there's a not insubstantial chance I will review it just because I really enjoy the weird, odd nature of this, which is why I wanted to share it with you guys today. So hopefully you found all of that interesting. It's a weird game, but I strongly encourage people to try it for themselves, and if you do, I would love to know what you think about it down in the comment section below, which of course means to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.